Welcome to Keep It Clean for Happier You. I'm your host, Nikki Tambulides. Together with my guests, we will help you reclaim your space at home. Yes, you can. We're here to help. Stay with us. So happy you could join us today at Keep It Clean for Happier You. I'm your host, Nikki. What are we talking about? A very important topic for all of us, how to save money and reduce waste. We continue our conversation with Fred Miers, the owner of Simple Bottle Return, a 68,000 square feet facility at 1100 Boston Avenue in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Everybody is welcome with their returns. Welcome, Fred, and thank you for your time. Getting back to the World Wildlife Fund, extending the conversation from what Fred said, one plastic bottle takes approximately 450 years to break down. And in a study published by Reuters in 2019, almost 1 million plastic bottles are purchased every minute in the U.S. alone. 1,500 plastic water bottles are consumed every second, while the percentage rate of PET bottles in the USA was 27.9%. What does PET stands for?
No,
Is that
I wish I could pronounce it.
Poly.
It's polyethylene tetracylate.
So this is something that it doesn't. The environment it doesn't. Yeah.
You're also talking about if it breaks down, if it's exposed to the
yes.
natural environment. But if you bury it, let's say 5 or 10 feet down in a landfill, it'll never decompose. It's there for life.
Lovely. That is something to warn us about. So, in closing, I want to ask Fred to
Can I make one statement on that?
Yes.
When it comes to a landfill,
yes.
You know how they determine the age of a landfill? They dig down, and the deeper they go, they pull up a newspaper and just read the date. So they know how old that landfill is.
Unbelievable. I had no idea.
It does not decompose. It's just a storage place for the future population to deal with. That's all landfills are. Now, in Connecticut, they closed all the landfills. So there's either incinerator plants or they're recycling plants. There is no landfills anymore in Connecticut.
But how do we currently deal with, because I was reading a book and it upset me because it talked about how a planet in peril that we are right now, and how it is important that we do less, we use less, we consume less, we buy less, we do more labor. And that's what you're doing here in your facility, that you're utilizing labor as opposed to equipment that they have side effects, so to speak, in the environment. So it's very commendable.
Thank you. I think that to get into a deeper, broader recycling needs to be more focused on marketing techniques that most manufacturers use to push their products. And when they get into marketing of a particular product and the cardboard, the plastic, the different, everything that you see on that advertising, and when you get down to the actual product itself has nothing to do with it. So when you rip that package open and discard it,
yes, there
are so many different products that are contaminated because it's commingled in with one another that cannot be separated. So it needs to be part of a mandated situation where the government needs to force products that are being introduced to the public to use less of the amount of commodities contaminating one another within each other. And so you got the styrofoams, you get the cardboards, you get the paper. There's so many different things in marketing of that. And that's where recycling's got to get to do less, use less.
How are you going to absorb it in the environment? It's like the question, the $1 million question. People say, well, you know, I'm recycling this, but then as you said, there is the side effect of whatever it is, like the packaging. Where that goes.
Correct. And it's the same thing as single stream curbside recycling.
Yes.
When you got single stream and you're mixing all these commodities together and you're compacting them into the back of a truck, you're breaking glass, you're smushing plastic, you're mushing everything together into one truck just to transport
so it's
more, bringing it to a MRF to dump it onto their floor and then try to separate it. You can't be done.
There's so much, because it's contaminated.
It's contaminated. So the end users look at curbside programs as single stream as there's material that we cannot buy because it's too contaminated.
Yes. And also we are doing, and have the states involved in this, we're doing food waste,
Yes.
the program, because after all, we're talking about how to save money and reduce waste. And I have a friend, I have to mention it, her name is Eva, she's Greek. And in her yard, she has vegetables like flowers. She said to me, you want cauliflower? And I'm like, yeah, okay. She walked in front of her yard and she cut me a thing under a tree. And I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, you said you want cauliflower.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it that she is composting. In-house, and she's taking care of that. And she hardly has any grass in her whole yard. And it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not a designer of any kind. So in closing, I'm so excited that you're here with us, Fred Miers from Simple Bottle Return. And one thing my producer mentioned, that there's nothing simple about your operation, but you make it simple for the clients. And it's so true, because people come in and all they have to do is put their containers down from the bags that they have. And I noticed that they take their bags back, because that to them is like reusable. Yep. So they're not even throwing it in the trash. They're just taking it back. And they're very happy because things go fast, because you mentioned you can do 700 bottles
per minute. That's a max speed, yes. Because
that's like, and one thing I noticed when I came to meet you last time, you were actually fixing something. You were here on the floor fixing something. And today when I came in, you were just helping with the bottles. So you're always involved, and that's what makes you so different.
Thank you.
From any other company. You're actually involved.
I'm a hands-on employer. If I wouldn't ask somebody to do something, I wouldn't do myself.
And that's what makes your place so successful. So I want you to tell us, and I know it's at the end and not at the beginning, because at the beginning I gave an intro, about your process when you were 15, how you started.
Oh my gosh.
And then to tell us how you are now and your dreams for the future and what you're planning to do. Open another facility.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. To start it all off, is when we were kids, we were allowed to go out and make a few bucks by mowing lawns, doing paper deliveries to people's homes. Everything that a little kid could do that couldn't actually, go to work for let's say McDonald's was a starting position to learn a trait. We were actually out doing what we can. And if I mowed a lawn and made $10, that was a lot of money back in the day.
You're rich.
So, yeah. But the bottle bill was passed in 1979. And in 1980, I went with a buddy of mine to a restaurant that was at a country club, and the country club was throwing their bottles out right into the dumpster in their back of their loading dock area. And I walked over and I opened it up and I looked and I saw it. So I started dumpster diving. I went into there and grabbed those bottles, and I brought them to the local Grand Union and returned them. And I don't know, I'm dating myself when there's Finest, the Grand Union, and A&Ps, but yet some places say that's enough, we don't want any more, and I'd go to the next store. But yet I was making more money returning bottles and cans than I was doing little odd jobs. I think a paper route, I was making $3 a week. But back then, you're a little kid, that's a lot of money, and it adds up over time.
Absolutely.
But as time went on, one restaurant went to another restaurant, and then when I got my driver's license, sky's the limit. And then actually my brother got involved into this business, and he opened up the first redemption center with a buddy of his, and they called it Empty Containers, a service in Westport. So I started working with them, and I had a source to bring the bottles and cans to at that location. But by the time I was 18,
you were in business.
In my town, whenever somebody was 16 or 18, their fathers always bought them a brand new car. If it was an IROC or a Camaro or something like that, I bought my own car with my own money. So I was very proud of that.
Power.
So I was, and you appreciate it more when you work for it. But when things are given to you back in the day, no, you don't appreciate it the way it is.
No. You're listening to Keep It Clean for Happier You podcast. To listen anytime, go to dirtdirtgoaway.com. Also, you can live stream online at radio1400.am every Saturday. We're talking to Fred Miers from Simple Bottle Return.
So from that day on, working with my brother, we built one of the largest bottle return centers in Connecticut. In
1980s?
In the early 80s,
yes.
1982. We built it up to, it was Fairfield County Redemption, went to FCR. We landed the first curbside recycling program in Connecticut. We had the Garbage Museum right here in Stratford. We did the Hartford curbside recycling program up there. And then I got shipped down to Greensboro to open up the first single-stream recycling program in the country, where I ran the first MRF. And that was an experience altogether because we didn't have the technology back then. Everything was manually separate.
Yeah.
Everything was hand separated. So it was a challenge. But I noticed it wasn't the challenge that I was interested in. I had no interest in doing that raw garbage separation that we were being accepting.
But it was not bottles and cans.
It was everything. Newspaper, cardboard, went bottles, cans, glass. It didn't matter. Whatever was recyclable, we did the first single stream down in.
That must have been very challenging.
It was challenging, but it wasn't something I was wanting to do because I started in bottle redemption. I said, I had enough of this, and I went and started my own company. 1992, I asked my dad to come and help me out, which, believe it or not, he never was available to me. And he said, you know what? I never done anything for you. Let me give you until 2 years of my life. I retired. I'll give you 2 years. He gave me to 1994. Then he retired for good, but that gave me 2 years to get the business up and running.
He was there helping you.
He was there helping me.
Wow.
It was a challenge. And I got to know my father pretty good at that point. Before
I think working together, it's a different kind of a relationship.
Yes, it was, because we had two different heads butting each other. But it was I was happy and glad that he was there. And if he was live today, he would be very proud. Yes,
yeah.
Because what we started out back in the day and what it is today, it's night and day.
But you worked very hard to get there because what makes you so unique is like you did legislation, you did lobbying, you did a lot of things. You were not just saying, okay, I'm going to start a business and this is what it is. You fought for everything.
Yes, I did.
Every step of the way. So that makes you so unique in that not only that you have a very efficient company and people working and loyal people working for you, but also the fact that you fought for everything.
I fought for the industry. So it was everybody who was in the industry. I fought for them tooth and nail to try to get and it took decades. It didn't happen overnight. No. We started back in when Governor Rell was governor.
Oh
back in.
God! Everything was so slow.
So slow, but to get anybody attention, and every year we'd get it into legislation brought up to it, then it would not be brought to the House floor for a vote. Has to get to the House floor for a vote. And we finally got, in 2017, I believe it was, we finally got some type of traction going on.
Yeah. But the environment also, Fred, I'm talking with Fred Miers from Simple Bottle Return here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I think now the environment is a big deal. It's like a hot topic. So everybody wants to know what they can do, what they can participate, how they can make it better, which is simple because I think they slap something like a green label on everything, and I often wonder what that means because it's just so overused without any meaning. What are your future plans to help all of us with making greener options, so to speak?
I had a business plan put together to offer what I'm showing you today in the facility. That was a 4-year plan, and that 4-year plan finally came to fruition with the intentions of having this as a nucleus and opening up different satellites in each town throughout Fairfield County. Yes. So we were looking at Norwalk, Stamford, Danbury, any town that needs a bottle return. But once I offered this system here, it was designed to handle close to 700 to 800,000 containers a day going through there for processing. But I never anticipated this one facility doing that type of volume. So right now I have to rethink about what I'm doing because I think I outgrew my system. And if you push a system to its peak,
yes,
how far can you push it beyond?
Yeah.
So there are limitations to everything. So
Yes.
there has to be a new consideration of what I'm going to do on how to expand. And right now,
because not only I think it's a profitable business, but aside from that, it's needed. You're needed in every town. Because I know friends of mine, and I mentioned to Fred when I first met him the first time, that a friend of mine loves your facility, and she's very fussy. And she said, oh, you have to go there. You are not going to believe how clean the place is, how fast they are. They're so quick. They're so. I never return my bottles. I throw them out. I give them to somebody to take it. And now I'm going there. She was so proud to come to your place. So duplicating and making it, multiplying this facility, I think you have to do it. I'm talking from the consumer side. You're needed.
It's needed, but I also grew up watching other people in this industry fail. And what I've learned is do not take on partners. You can't have two captains.
I tell you, as a Greek person, Greek people get into partnerships and
you do not do partnership. So what you have to do is build a reputation and a system of tax returns that you could prove to people that you can take your idea to financial institutions that's willing to back you. You don't want to do venture capitalists. You don't want to do any kind of loans from people you really, you don't want.
Have you considered like the McDonald's
what I've
scenario,
done?
Like
what I've done
franchising?
is everything is on my own. I've never asked for help from anybody. So right now, going forward, I'm still not going to ask for help from anybody. If I can't do it, I will not do it. If I can do it, you're going to see me running full force, trying to accomplish my goals.
Have you considered franchising your place?
It's an idea. I'm sure franchising, I don't know the fundamentals of how franchising's actually worked. I'm sure that's talk to your lawyers and figure out how to. I don't know if I'm at that situation right now. I'm always, I want to do it myself. I want to be the person to.
Because your standards are so high, Fred. And you want somebody else that takes over, not to jeopardize that.
Correct.
That you built so hard for so many years. So I can see what you're saying because I think franchising is a good idea because it's needed, but I don't know if at the same time you don't want to lower the standards.
Right. And you franchise, you give out your processing abilities and but how will that person actually represent? Are they going to do it the same way I do it? I doubt it. They're going to do it their own way, and I don't want to degrade what I have going.
I don't know if you guys watched PBS. They had how McDonald's started, and they were when they first started franchising it, they had these people putting like all kinds of food there, all kinds of music, people playing. It was totally a disaster. And then finally somebody stepped in and they put everybody in order. In closing, I want Fred to give us a short tip for our listeners to use on their recycling, to help them recycle and to be better citizens.
The only tip I say that participate. Do not be a reason or a cause to have somebody else clean up after you.
Yeah. That's a good
That's
one.
it. If you turn around and you be responsible for your own your material, then everything will be, just do the right thing.
Yeah, and my tip in closing would be make sure you wash, because I'm after all in the cleaning business, to wash all the material that before you bring it for recycling, because people are not responsible for your contaminated food or anything else that you're going to bring to the facility, to any facility. We came to the end of the show, working on more at Keep It Clean, like tips and tricks to get you started with clutter and cleaning, how to make every day an Earth Day, how to clean less, my very own 7 in 7, And my quick tip for today and every day, shoes off at the door. Bye for now. Oppa.
At Keep It Clean for Happier You, we'd love to hear from you. For your comments and questions, use contact form at dirtdirtgoaway.com or text Nikki, text only, at 203-581-3446. That's 203-581-3446. We will be here every Saturday. Tune in to Keep It Clean for Happier You podcast. You can live stream online at radio1400.am every Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. and listen anytime at dirtdirtgoaway.com.